People need to stop lying and saying that it's cheaper to get a house than to rent. That is not actually true. And I venture to say that I'm not the only person that knows someone who bought a house and realizes it, in fact, is not cheaper to own a house. Because remember, once you own a house, you're responsible for all of the repairs. Now, I'm talking about a single family home. Now, what might be true is it might be cheaper to purchase a townhouse because when you buy a townhouse, you don't have to take care of the things on the outside of the home. You're only responsible for everything that's on the inside. But again, that comes with fees because on the inside of the house, you have your heating and cooling system, you have your pipes and things like that. So if you get a clog, you have to pay to get that fixed. If your heating and cooling unit breaks down, you have to get that fixed. So you have to make sure that you have enough income or that you have the ability to save up enough income or have the credit and the ability to pay that credit to get those things fixed. So if all you have is your rent payment and your utilities and you wouldn't have money if there was an emergency or you wouldn't have credit, then it's not going to be cheaper for you because you're going to put yourself in a situation where either you're not going to have the credit score that you need to borrow the money and now you're stuck with things that don't work, or you're going to end up paying high finance fees and struggling underneath that money that you owe every month for a while. I am not trying to make people feel bad and not do it because I want you to be able to do it. I want everybody to have what they want, what they need, especially when it comes to living situations. But people don't remind you of that when you're in that happy process of finding something that you want. So when you have a single family home, you're now responsible for the outside and the inside. So if something's going on the outside, you got to get that fixed. And if you live in an HOA community, you got to get it fixed before they start writing fines. Okay. And if warning letters get you very upset, then you're going to have to try to fix it before you start getting those annoying warning letters. So now, single family home, you got to have enough money to take care of the outside of the structure and the inside of the structure. That's roofs, if roofing situations happen. That's whatever brick, tile, siding, all of that stuff. Now, if you are well able and willing to purchase a lawnmower and cut your own grass, you're good. But if it's going to be difficult for you to do that, now you got to pay somebody to keep the grass cut. Okay? Then there's these little things called weeds that love to take over your lawn. And again, you don't want to have that. Sometimes it's a city ordinance. Most of the time it's an HOA ordinance. You got to have the money to pay for people to treat your lawn. And it's usually year round. It's a little bit less in the cooler times if you live in a place that has cooler times. But again, there are different treatment schedules that they come up with that pretty much equate to all year long that you got to keep up with. So if you do not have the extra income to spend on taking care of the outside structures, the inside structures, keeping the grass cut and bushes manicured and all that stuff and taking care of the weeds, plus you got to treat for termites and things like that, then it is not going to be cheaper for you to own a home. You have got to have a little bit of extra money for that stuff. And then lastly, the property taxes. Property taxes vary depending on lots of different things. If they pass certain bills or whatever, that there's going to be an increase in taxes to do certain things within the city, that's going to come back to you. And so the taxes that you agree on that you're going to have to pay when you're at the table signing those papers may go up a little bit. It can fluctuate, it can go up and down. But for the most part, you just need to know that it can increase or decrease. And it might, like, I've seen it increase up to $50 more. But I mean, it could be more than that. It could be less than that. But it's just things that people do not always tell you that you have to be aware of when you decide that you want to own a home. So you got to make sure that you have a little bit of extra income that you can flex with, or that you don't mind working a couple of jobs. Okay, or that you don't mind wondering where your next dollar is going to come from and if you're going to be able to pay that stuff. That's just being realistic.